So for this Friday's video, I want to do something a little bit different. So I've been streaming over at Twitch. You can come check it out if you want to. We're grinding out some of the new event vehicles whenever it comes to the royale update. But I've recently spaded out one of them that is kind of funny to talk about just because my experience in it kind of feels completely different than I actually did in the vehicle itself. So the vehicle I'm talking about is the M4 T26. So basically you take an M4 Sherman or the whole of an M4 Sherman and you're like, hey, we need a bigger gun on this thing. So then you take the Pershing turret and you put it on top of it. I believe if I remember correctly, this thing was only ever a prototype. It never even seen like any sort of like active service. It never even got past like 2 prototypes, I believe. And I remember there's like a picture of it in like a hangar or something where they're kind of working on it. But basically what you get is you get a Sherman that has a upgraded gun. But the thing about it is it's just a Sherman. Even the turret armor of the Pershing still can be pinned, especially if you know where to shoot Pershings at. It's a very, very easy target to kill. But the thing about it is all of the negatives about this thing, even not having a stabilizer, even, the reload rate on it's a little bit higher than the 76, and even the stuff like the whole armor basically can be pinned by everything, makes this thing extremely poor on paper. But at the same time, I've been doing extremely well in it, and it's very confusing to me. So the thing about it is this thing, I believe I have a KD of like 69 kills to like 22 deaths, and I think it's around like 64% win rate. So I've been doing decently well with this little thing, but I still would prefer to be in a Sherman. I still would prefer to be in the M4A3 76, which is at 5.7, but this thing is at 6.0. Now the thing about this thing being at 6.0 is that it has to face Tiger 2s, and the one thing that this thing does not have at all is it does not have APCR. So without it having APCR, basically whenever you see a Tiger 2H, at least, you have to shoot the gun out. There's nothing that you can do from the frontal aspect of the thing, and you shoot the gun out and you try to flank it, or you just try to move away from it and try to get a side shot on it, or you just wait for the turret to turn and you're able to get the side of the turret, and most of the time that would be a one hit. But the thing about it is that this thing is only 0.3 BR away from stuff like the T25 and M26. This thing is also 0.3 away from the Shermans with stabilizers, so it's in a really weird position whenever it comes to War Thunder. But the thing about it is I've been doing extremely well in it, but I don't think that I should be doing well in it. But the thing about it is that whenever it gets into a down tier, it does reasonably well against like Tigers and Panthers. But the only thing is the Tigers are pretty easy to kill because the 90 mil usually just memes them anyway. Whenever you shoot them, it usually one hits them. But Panthers, on the other hand, it seems like Panthers, especially with the mantlet from the front, this thing has a little bit of a tough time actually killing those things. And even when you pin a Panther, especially in the turret, it most of the time would not get you a one shot. So it's a little bit of a struggle thing. Now, would I ever recommend actually grinding this thing out and playing it? Yes, because it is a very unique vehicle whenever it comes to War Thunder. It's different. You got to play it completely different than you would anything else in the game. I think that's a really good thing whenever it comes to this. But the final thing is you really can't miss the stabilizer. Like, the stabilizer is a mainstay of the Shermans. You basically get that took away. And if you look at it on paper, it's basically just a Jackson or a Slugger. I mean, it's basically those two things at 5.3 and 5.7, except for it's enclosed. And to me, at least, it feels like the mobility on it is a little bit worse than even those things. Another thing is to notice that it's also very similar to the M36B1, which is a Sherman hull with a Jackson turret on it. But the thing about it is, or an M36 turret on it. But the thing about it is, it has heat FS. So even at 5.7, whenever you're facing stuff like Tiger 2Hs with that thing, you're able to pin it and you're able to do reasonably well. Now, am I not saying this thing should go down in BR? I don't know. I kind of feel conflicted with it. I mean, like, you have stuff like the Jag Panther, which is also 6.0, which makes no sense of why this thing is here. But yeah, at the end of the day, I really enjoyed playing this thing. I highly recommend playing it if you wanted to try out some weird and wacky American prototypes. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next War Thunder video. Also, if you want to check out some of the Twitch streams, we'll be doing it probably daily over the weekend, and we should be grinding out some of the stuff. I believe next we're probably going to be doing the BTR spade, which should be pretty fun.